Can I tell you something most men your age never get told? Somewhere, there's a woman who has already noticed you, quietly, in a way she'd probably never admit. You almost certainly walked right past it because somewhere along the way, you were convinced that after a certain age, men become invisible. They don't. People never stop noticing. They simply become better at hiding it. So let me show you 10 things women often notice before you ever say a single word. 1. The way you wait. The coffee line isn't moving. Someone checks his watch. Another sighs. A man near the counter taps his foot as though impatience might make the line move faster. Then there's another man who simply waits. His shoulders stay relaxed. When the barista apologizes, he smiles, nods, and keeps waiting. Nothing remarkable happens. That's exactly why it matters. Women often notice how a man behaves when nothing is expected of him. Waiting strips away performance. It shows whether he meets ordinary moments with frustration or quiet ease. Years later, you won't remember the line. You'll remember how someone felt while standing in it. Sometimes that's the first thing she remembers, too. 2. How you treat people who can't offer you anything. The restaurant is busy. A waiter forgets your drink. The cashier scans the wrong item. The security guard opens the door while everyone walks past without looking. Then one man quietly says, "Take your time." No audience, no performance. Just respect. Women notice moments like that because they reveal something conversation often hides. Anyone can be charming when there's something to gain, but kindness offered to someone who can give you nothing back feels different. Looking back, you may remember someone who thanked everyone, remembered names, or made strangers feel comfortable. Those moments seemed ordinary then. They're often the ones people carry for years. 3. The way you enter a room. The family gathering has already started. Children are running through the hallway. Someone is laughing in the kitchen. The front door opens. One man enters like he needs everyone to notice him. Another slips inside, hoping nobody will. Then, there's the man who simply arrives. He greets the first person he sees, looks around the room, and joins the conversation without asking for attention. Women often notice the emotional atmosphere a man brings with him before they notice anything he says. Some people carry tension, others carry calm. You may forget the conversation. You rarely forget how someone made the room feel. 4. Where your attention naturally goes. An airport gate is full of people waiting. Almost every face is pointed toward a phone. A child drops a stuffed animal beside the seats. Most people never look up. One man notices. He picks it up, hands it back with a smile, then returns to watching planes through the window. No speech, no performance. Women often notice where a man's attention settles when he doesn't think anyone is watching. Some people only seem aware of themselves. Others notice the room. The older couple carrying bags, the nervous employee, the child searching for a toy. Being noticed is something people rarely forget. Sometimes attention speaks before words ever can. 5. How comfortable you are with silence. Dinner has arrived. The first rush of conversation fades. Someone reaches for a drink. Someone glances out the window. For a few seconds, nobody speaks. One person rushes to fill the silence. Then there's the man who simply lets it exist. He doesn't seem uncomfortable. He isn't searching for the perfect thing to say. He's simply there. Women notice that more than most men realize. Silence quietly reveals who believes they must constantly prove themselves. Years later, you probably won't remember every conversation, but you'll remember someone beside whom silence never felt awkward. Sometimes that's the strongest impression anyone leaves. 6. The way you look at someone. A grocery cart rounds the corner. Two strangers stop at the same time. For a second, neither knows who should go first. One man barely looks up. Another stares a little too long. Then there's the man who simply meets her eyes, smiles, steps aside, and continues on. The moment lasts only a heartbeat. Women often notice the quality of a man's glance long before they remember his face. Some looks feel demanding. Some feel distracted. A calm glance does something different. It acknowledges without taking. It notices without lingering. Most women know the difference immediately. Sometimes the look they remember isn't the bold one. It's the one that felt easy. 7. What your hands are doing. A pharmacy waiting room. People scroll through their phones while the numbers slowly change overhead. One man keeps cracking his knuckles. Another taps his fingers against the chair. Then there's the man whose hands simply rest. Maybe he's holding a receipt. Maybe he's turning a page in a book. Nothing hurried, nothing forced. Women notice hands because they often reveal what the face hides. A man can control his smile. He can choose his words. His hands usually tell the truth first. They quietly reveal patience, tension, gentleness, or calm. Before anyone hears your voice, they're already telling part of your story. 8. Whether you notice other people's space. An elevator fills one person at a time. Someone shifts to make room. Someone else doesn't notice he's blocking the doorway. Then one man quietly steps aside before anyone has to ask. It's such a small gesture that most people forget it happened. Women often don't. Little moments like these reveal whether a man understands invisible boundaries. Not because he's afraid of taking up space, because he notices other people occupy it too. A crowded sidewalk, a restaurant booth, a checkout line. Respect is often measured in inches, and people remember how comfortable they felt standing beside someone. 9. How you handle small embarrassment. A glass tips over. A receipt slips from your hand. You pronounce someone's name incorrectly. For a second, every eye seems to turn toward you. One man immediately becomes defensive. Another apologizes over and over. Then there's the man who smiles, fixes the mistake, and moves on. Women notice those moments because life is full of tiny imperfections. A man who can carry them lightly makes everyone around him relax. It isn't about confidence, it's about perspective. The people who stay in your memory are rarely the ones who never stumbled. They're the ones who never let a stumble become the entire moment. 10. Whether you seem at peace with yourself. A bookstore, a hardware store, a hotel lobby. A man catches his reflection in the glass. Some seem to spend their whole lives arguing with the years they've lived. Others wear those years quietly, not proudly, not apologetically, simply honestly. Women notice when a man seems comfortable being exactly who he has become. There is something reassuring about someone who no longer looks like he's asking the room for permission to exist. Age doesn't make a man invisible. Sometimes it makes him easier to see, because experience has a way of softening the need to impress, and that quiet confidence is difficult to overlook. Maybe that's why someone just came to mind. Not because of something dramatic they did, but because of the way they carried themselves through ordinary moments. The line at the coffee shop, the elevator, the restaurant, the waiting room. Long before anyone speaks, people are already telling a story about themselves, and sometimes the quietest chapters become the ones we remember the longest.